How you doing, Mike?
I'm here. Good to see you guys.
Everybody else out there,
Nope.
all right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Batavia Rotary. Everyone, thanks for joining us. Let's see, can I ask Brandon to start us off with prayer?
Sure. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for another Tuesday, a beautiful week, some great cold weather that's on us, and the opportunity to be together as friends and people who care about our community, make a difference. And I pray this morning that you help us to just be unified in that purpose, and thank you that we're able to meet in person and virtually together. And we just pray your blessing on our time and our work in this community and Rotary worldwide as well. We pray in your name. Amen. Amen.
Ed, would you mind leading us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, everyone have a seat. Again, thanks everyone for joining us. We have a few guests with us this morning. So Greg Berkmeyer is joining us here in person. And you guys will have on the screen, we'll have a chance to see him more clearly here shortly. And then Susan Wilkinson has become a regular member here at Batavia Rotary. I think so she's going to be joining us from here on out for the rest of the year. No, I'm kidding. And then we also have Bill Shula on. So welcome to the three of you. I want to start today with birthdays and anniversaries. I think, is Wayne on at all? Not here in person either. Okay. Wayne has his birthday on the 11th, and Aaron Nicoletti on the 16th coming up. So happy birthday. Tony, would you mind coming and doing the song for Aaron? Aaron, come on forward.
Guess the torch has been passed.
Well, yeah, in-person singing is always
Aaron, happy
nice.
birthday. Good to see you. They say it's your birthday, and so we've been told. And though you seem ageless, you're another year old. On a cake there'll be candles all lighted for you, and everyone is singing, happy birthday to you.
All right.
What do you think, Peter?
I think he did a wonderful job.
All right, and then Jeff Boggs is also having a wedding anniversary this year. 35 years married to Wanda. I don't think he's with us either, but if you talk with him, definitely tell him congrats. It's already been ruined, but there's also one other celebration today.
What is it?
Well, yeah. Alan, do you want to share your news? Alan, you're on mute.
Let me, oh, there we go. Yeah, I've been happily retired for about a week, and I've turned from professional pilot into professional grandfather. So
That's awesome. And how long have you been working for Delta?
say again?
How long were you working for Delta before you?
32 years.
32 years.
Yeah, and 10 years in the military, so about 40 years in the air.
Do you have any idea how many hours that is?
Oh, you know, I would guess about probably 25,000, something like that. Yeah. You kind of lose track after a while, but yeah, it's good though. I'm enjoying it. I really am.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
That I have one thing to say. If I had been doing the birthday song this morning, and I'm just as happy I wasn't, I did want to say that September 5th was my father's birthday, and he always used to say that my grandmother made a project out of Labor Day.
Well, happy birthday.
He's gone now, but
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that. Don't really know where to go from there.
Wow, I'm stumpy.
Yeah. Okay, Susan, I'm gonna share, a few updates, that you emailed out, to the presidents last week. And then I'm gonna ask you to recap if that's all right. The trilogy is coming up, on September 23rd, and it's gonna be all virtual. Registration, is open and it's free to attend. It's 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on the 23rd. Let's see, World Polio Day is coming up on October 24th. And then November is Rotary Foundation Month, and Peter, I believe, is going to be presenting to our club for that on the first Tuesday in November. I think it's November 3rd is when Peter is going to be doing a presentation for the Rotary Foundation. So we're looking forward to that. Susan, did I miss anything big, or do you want to expand on Trilogy at all?
Well, I think you covered everything, and I imagine Greg will also will be giving you an additional update. So I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Jennifer.
I would just like to say one thing, that I noticed that Trilogy, to drive to Trilogy and everything in the past has been kind of a deterrent for attending, and I have done that a couple of times. It's well worth the time. If you have the time in the evening to get on a virtual, this is an opportunity to see what it's all about, and it's very good. Time well spent.
Awesome, thank you. All right, let's see, next item, Student of the Month. We are going to be starting that. Typically, we would be doing that today, but a little bit behind the 8 ball on that, which is my mistake. But we will be starting that again in October. So October 6th is going to be our first Student of the Month presentation, so we're looking forward to doing that, because I think everyone agrees that's one of our favorite Tuesdays of the month is when we get to see the students. So to be determined whether or not they're going to be in person or virtual, as far as presenting and the students being here, but we'll figure that out a little bit closer to the date. So along with that, the board did talk about a couple weeks ago. So with the Student of the Month, instead of having an outside presenter come in and do what we normally do, thought it might be a little bit crowded to try to squeeze both of those in. So with the Student of the Month, since we're only meeting 2 times a month, we're going to have someone from inside the club present on something. So whether it's like Peter is going to take the November one with Foundation, but if anyone would like to present anything from their line of business or anything like that, or you know someone, we're doing inside club. So if you do want to present, we do have the first Tuesday of each month that we're going to try to fill with internal presenters. So definitely let us know about that. See, we've been working with United Way and Marcy to deliver food packages the last, it's been 5 or 6 weeks, I think now. That's been going really well. If you haven't had a chance to do it, and it is a lot of fun. We do have 2 weeks left. So this Thursday is the 10th, I think, and then the 17th. So this Thursday is at River Tree Church. I think Lisa is planning on doing that. And then I'm available as well if anyone has not had the opportunity and would like to. Definitely let us know. We can get you on the schedule and give you more detail about that. But we deliver this week from River Tree Church in Milford to Beacon Hotel in Amelia, and then I guess right off 275 at Beacon Avenue. And then next week is going to be from Interparish Ministries in Amelia, going to the same hotel. So it is a lot of fun. We do still have open spots left, but so if you are interested in doing that, let us know, and you can join Lisa this week or next week. I think it's completely open. I do want to say thank you. Let's see, 2 weeks ago, Linda Fraley and Megan Dick were able to do that, and then Lisa saved it this week, or I guess her coworkers saved it this week, this past Thursday by doing the deliveries. So thank you very much to all of you who have participated. Real quick, we had somebody else join us, Sakta. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're wonderful. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Good. Mike and Raman also joined us on the screen for you, those of you in the back. Yeah. See. So, let's see. Along with the IPM food delivery, or the food delivery, we do only have 2 more weeks. I did mention that. But after that, I think we have some room for another activity to do. So I think we talked about as part of our goal was to do 1 thing a quarter. So this kind of spans, or is wrapping up our 3rd quarter, I guess. So if anyone does have an opportunity that they know of for us to be involved in the community with nonprofit or else, definitely let us know. Open to those. Let's see. Before I move on to Happy Bucks, does anyone else have anything else for the good of the group? All right. I'll start off Happy Bucks. Mine is similar to Alan's. My dad also works for Delta. And he's been there for 31 years. Alan outpaced him by a year, but he was going to be retiring next April and also took the early retirement package. So I know we had a long conversation about what's next and everything, but he lives down in Northern Kentucky. And it involved in several different shelters and other stuff. Been ideas of them moving, but luckily for me, I enjoy having them local. So it'll be nice to have some more time to hang out with him locally, and then also just have him take a break. He has been working hard. So that's my Happy Bucks, and I'm going to walk around. So reminder, we do only have 1 speaker up front, so as I come around, if you can just yell into my face, I'm not going to be offended.
Hey, here's for everybody attending in person and via remote.
I'm getting mine out here. Speaking of yelling into your face, I am no longer yelling into a laptop on Sundays. We've been able to reopen our church, and now I'm no longer preaching to a laptop and trying to convert it to a PC or a Apple or something. I don't know. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. So when did you start that? So we did two weeks of practice runs from the facilities, and now we're doing basically we're doing here, virtual and in person. Everybody gets to come back this week, so we'll see how that works out.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad that I can still come once in a while to a meeting and not look and have to do that right there.
Thank you. Good to see you.
I do believe that the Fisher Elkins family is one with birthdays for a while. They had 10 in the last 5 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, all right.
Just happy to be here today.
Thank you.
Here at Sports Club.
Appreciate it.
That's weird.
Thank you.
Everybody listen. All I have was one. This is for Barb and Mike and Keith. Katie Schools has already been on a sabbatical for COVID, and they have done a fabulous job, and I know their job is really hard. So to the administrators of our school system, kudos to you. And I'm sure it's not over. And hi, Sofka.
It's a regular everyday weekend.
Hi, Mary Jane.
Good to be here. Good to see everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here's one for Sofka and one for our district governor, suffering through our crazy technological issues.
So Seth, you know, it's nice to see Mary Jane West scoot in there better than late than never.
And I came up, there was a line at Dunkin' Donuts. Priorities.
Priorities is right. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone.
Hey, Seth.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Mary Jane, and anyone else who's on virtual who you'd like to share a happy buck, we can get those to Mary Jane and or Seth. But I have a happy buck for, well, a couple, for 2 little kids who are starting homeschool preschool today, and just be praying for me when we do that in that whole process. So a beg and a plea for prayers. And also, Greg, a happy buck for you. It is so good to see you, even though I can't be there with you. It's good to see you, and welcome to our club.
I'd like to offer happy buck. Greg, thanks for being there. Sorry I'm not there, but I'm really there virtually. Greg is our awesome governor. He is doing such a good job, and I'm involved with him on a lot of things, so I can honestly say that. Susan from the Cincinnati Rotary Club, our assistant governor, wonderful seeing you there, and thanks for all you're doing for our club and the district. And Alan, congratulations. And Sofka, build up these bucks, aren't I? Sofka, it's so good to see you, and I got to tell you, on a conference call recently, I shared the story of Sofka a few weeks ago about the presentation she made, and there are Rotary clubs that said, oh boy, a light bulb went on, and they're in the process of contacting some of their former exchange students saying, come join us. So how much more happy could I be?
Yeah, for those of you who are visiting today, Sofka was our exchange student a couple weeks ago from Chile, and has joined us a few different times. So we're always happy to see her. So maybe here in a second she can give us a quick update of what she's been up to. But we'll finish happy bucks first, if that's all right, Sofka. Anyone else on the computer?
Okay, I'd like, let's see, if I, yeah, I'd like to have, I'm just so happy to see everybody. You know, it's just like family, and some of the faces I haven't seen for a long time, both connected virtually and also there in our airport room. So I'll have several happy bucks. I'm not sure exactly how to contribute them. Can you do it through PayPal or anything like that?
We'll have Nicole send out the minutes, and there are multiple ways to give. You can either come in person and drop them off in a couple weeks, mailing to Mary, or to the PO box, I guess, and then I think that's it.
Anybody who has happy bucks who is virtual, you can go to our Batavia Rotary website and give virtually there through PayPal. So that is an option.
Okay, good. I'll do that. I'd like to make, I don't know, $5.
Thank you. All right, Sofka. Would you give us a brief update on what you've been up to, how life is down south?
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. What did you say?
I said, oh, there we go. So would you like to give us a quick update on how life is for you, how school's going, how life is in the south?
Oh, good. Everything is still, we're in quarantine from March, so everything is the same. We can go out. I have online class, so that's the reason actually I couldn't join you before, because I have class early every day, every Tuesday. So today I say, okay, I'm gonna skip one class to join Rotary because I wanna see everyone. But yeah, it's not too much to say. Like, we're still in quarantine. Numbers are increasing every time, so it's worse. I miss you, everyone. It's so happy to see every face and see how good you are.
Awesome, thank you. Well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Stop, is the nail salons open? That's good.
He asked if the nail salons are open, Sofka. I think he noticed your nails, your fingernails. I don't think. All right.
They're
I
commenting
can hear.
about your nails. They're commenting about your nails and asking if the nail salons are open because that's a big deal here in the United States. Whether the nail salons are open.
Okay, actually, salon, everything is closed. Just groceries are open. But my neighbor doing nails, so she came to my house and doing my nails.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. It's good to see you, Sofka.
Good to see everyone. Take care.
All right. With that, I'd like to invite Greg up front. Everyone, please give him a Batavia Rotary walk.
Morning, Rotarians. Good morning. This is early. It could have been earlier. Could have been earlier. Could have been earlier. Who drove an hour and 10 minutes to get here this morning? Jake, she was in the parking lot for an hour.
I just drove around.
Were you at that one on 32 that had a line around the store like 6 times?
No, but I went to one in Owensville and it was lined up.
All right. Yeah, I saw the Dunkin' Donuts thing. Thanks for having me this morning. I guess I can't screw this up. I got 3 past district governors watching here on the screen. They'll be ringing me afterwards. I'm sure I'll get blistered with emails about whether I did a good job or a poor job. But thanks for having me. I'm disappointed you didn't sing me happy birthday. My birthday was Saturday.
Oh, no.
You do it again. Peter. We'll let Peter do it. No, you don't want Peter to sing, do you? Yeah. Now I turned 60 over the weekend. I'm really tired because we had our 7-month-old grandchild the whole weekend while his parents were out of town. The story behind that is I want you to give some thought to our friends down in District 6200. I don't know if you're aware, we have Rotary clubs, and we have Rotary districts. We're District 6670, 47 clubs, and we're part of zones. And we're part of Zone 30, and together we have Zones 30 and 31. And Zones 30 and 31 are represented by one director who sits on the board of Rotary International, who thinks Floyd Nancy. Anyways, 6200 is part of Zone 31. They got hit by the Hurricane Laura, and it's decimated. And the reason I know that is because my son's down there working with electrical utility contractors helping restore power. We got 8,000 miles of power lines now. And so his wife drove down there because there's no food, there's not a lot of water, there's not a lot of power, so his wife drove down there with 3 of the kids and delivered food to the linemen down there. So she came back, and that's why we have a 7-month-old, came back and set up really bad down there. So, and to the immediate north of that is 6190, which is also part of Zone 31. Their damage is a little less, but they cover back, the softer side of the water. So think about our Rotarians friends down in the 6200, 6190. When the district newsletter comes out this week, if you're interested, there's a link to donate cash if you want to help those clubs down there help communities. But with that said, thanks for having me again. My name is Greg Berkmeyer. I'm with the Rotary Club of Dayton. I've been a Rotarian since 2006. I was our club president from 2013 to 2014. And from there, held various district jobs. I was assistant governor for 3 years. Those who have worked with grants, I've been district grant subcommittee chair. I've been on a lot of different committees as part of my district governor upbringing. So I'm really glad to be here today. I'm married to my wife Peg. We've been married for 36 years, and we have 2 children and 6 grandchildren. And those who have grandchildren know it's a lot of fun, but a lot of work. So thanks for coming. Our Delta pilot, I heard you say I'm going to volunteer a lot because I got nothing else to do other than my grandchildren. So we look forward to having you help this club and maybe even help the district. You can do something in the district. I bring good tidings to you from Rotary International President Holger Knack, Holger from Germany. I got to tell you, he and his wife and Suzanne are really personal people. I was at a training event in Fort Wayne, Indiana last October and had the opportunity to share a couple beers And, Germans drink beer, I'm German, drink beer. But anyways, had a chance to chat with he and his wife about 20 minutes, really personable. While they've never had any children, they've hosted 25 or so inbound youth exchange. So they're really big youth exchange. They're really into Rotary, really strong supporters of Rotary. So I bring good tidings on behalf of them, and also from Floyd Lancey, who I mentioned is our RI director, so he's 30 and 31. Seth, thanks for having me today, and PDG Mac, PDG Peter, and we have visiting PDG Bill Shula from the Cincinnati Club. I'm glad you're here. Nicole, it is good to see you again. We saw you, I think, the last time at district conference. And Susan, thanks again for dropping in on this call. I guess they're going to try to steal you from Cincinnati. That's what I heard him say. Everybody know what this year's theme is? Oh, come on. Opening opportunities. Rotary opens opportunities, and that's what I'd like to share with you today. I want to give you my thoughts on that theme. I guess, well, let me first say, I think it's fitting that Holger chose this theme, particularly since the first object of Rotary is that the first of 4 objects of Rotary is the development of an acquaintance or an opportunity for service. Development of an acquaintance as an opportunity for service. It really isn't that what we're all about. And so I want to talk a little bit about that opportunity. When I think about the opportunity Rotary afforded me, hopefully afforded you, hopefully afforded our communities, things come to mind. I think the best opportunity for me, quite frankly, the thing I've gotten most out of Rotary is friendship and fellowship. My family was going through a pretty difficult time when I was called president, and the topic behind it, we had our speaker for the day. The club really didn't know I was going through this stuff with my family, and I stood up by the club and told the whole story. You can only do that with friends that you feel and trust, right? And I felt that way with Rotarians. I actually broke down crying, and it was a difficult situation for me. But to this day, my club still asks me about that family member. They still, how's that family member doing? You don't get that a lot of places, and I know I get it at Rotary, and so I really appreciate that. I think about the opportunities we give our youth to learn, gain international understanding, learn multiple communities. You got to learn that, right? You came here from, where's she from, Chile? I'm glad you got to experience that, and I appreciate all the work that you all do with the inbound and outbound youth exchange. Mac, thanks for your help. I know you're big in youth exchange, and you do a lot for us in our district. I appreciate that very much. I also think about the opportunities that we give for international understanding. There's a young lady by the name of Kim Forrester. She was supported by the Centerville Rotary Club in our district, and she got a global grant to study at the International School of Economics in London. She studied international relationships and peace. And she came back, that was like a $60,000 grant that she got to go there. And she came back, and now she's a student at the American Law University, furthering her studies in that area. Isn't that cool that we give somebody the opportunity to learn about peace and send them overseas to learn at a very renowned school? I think about the opportunities we give our youth. I think about Interactors, and thank you again for your help with Interact. I'm a little concerned about Interact this year and how we're going to bring the kids together. I know you mentioned the youth exchange or the youth coming in here. Please be careful. If you do anything virtual, you got to think about whether you can actually put a youth on a virtual setting, okay? And that's one of the concerns I have with regard to Interactor. How are we going to bring them together? Can they be youth? Do we have to get parental sign-offs? I'm not sure of all the answers yet. We're going to have to work through that. But I appreciate that, what you do. And we also do the RILA, Rotary Youth Leadership Awards. And so, again, we wanted to have that in October. We got to push it back to next spring, and hopefully we can have it spring, because it's a camp term. We bring 100 kids together. We put some adults with them in cabins. We just couldn't bring those kids together and put adults with them and fear the spread of COVID, even though Camp Kern was willing to accept us to do it this October. I appreciate the opportunity to give our Rotaractors. Are you familiar with Rotaract? 18 to 30-year-olds. We have 5 Rotaract clubs in the district. I think we offer them the opportunity to make important business connections, network, and learn from each other. We have 4 college-based ones and 1 community-based one in Cincinnati. I really appreciate the fact that we have are solving polio, the opportunity to solve polio. Back in 1952, there was 53,000 cases in the United States. And while we're down to about 100 right now, 100 a year, it's still an important issue. did you know that if we stop immunizing, we could have up to 250,000 cases of polio in a year? People say, well, how can that be? And I say COVID. Think about it. Over 6 million cases, 6.3 million, I think, is this morning in the U.S., spread in 4 months. Yeah, it's through aerosol and breathing and all that stuff, and polio comes through ingesting through the intestinal tract, but still, it's still something that we have to continue to tackle. I also appreciate everything that everybody did with regard to COVID, including your club. I know we gave you a district grant for $400 to help feed essential workers. Thank you for your service. That's really important that we help those who are helping us with COVID. I also appreciate the opportunity that we all take to help our schools with basic education literacy through our dictionary and book projects. I know your club does a dictionary project. I believe we just gave you a district grant. Your club's around 2,000 for the project, 1980 or something. We gave you nearly 1,000 to help support that. So thank you for helping our schools. I also appreciate the opportunity to help health and safety of our communities. If I remember right, you do RAP in Claremont County, and you work with other organizations to deliver food baskets and give gifts and things like that at the holidays. Again, thank you for your support of that. And then, I don't know if you're aware, Rotary actually established a new area of focus called enhancing our environment, or environment. So you'll see more about that. The global grants and things like that will be an opportunity for enhancing the environment. You know, when you think about that, LED lighting and other things, solar power and everything else that's necessary around the world today, I'm glad that Rotary has gotten on board with that. And then finally, I appreciate the opportunity that we give our international communities delivering clean water and sanitation. Our district is really strong in global grants, particularly in the water area. And so we provide water, we help provide water to a lot of communities internationally, globally. So thank you for your help with that. Folks, I wish we had all great opportunities, but I think there's some opportunities for improvement, unfortunately. And I want to share those with you. One area is in the area of membership sustainability and engagement. You know, COVID's had an important impact on our clubs, right? And so what are clubs doing right now? Well, I would say probably most clubs are doing what you're doing right now, which is partly in person, partly virtually. Some clubs like my own are doing totally virtually. My club has 240 members. We usually get about 140 at a meeting. And our space, we're at Sinclair College, and they can't feed us food, and we just can't get socially distanced. So we're doing virtually until the end of the year. The nice thing about that, though, is we actually had a speaker from India. It was 10:30 in India, it was noon in Dayton, but it was you know, something we probably couldn't have done. You know, we weren't going to fly somebody from India to talk to our club, right? The clubs are using the opportunity to bring in speakers they might otherwise do. We have some clubs aren't meeting yet. That really concerns me. You know, from an engagement standpoint, if clubs aren't getting together and communicating with each other, that's going to be problematic. I'm really concerned about those clubs. So, you know, it's difficult to track numbers in this scenario, but it's really important to keep numbers in this scenario. And I'm not so much interested in growing our district right now, but I am interested in retaining our district. But I want to talk about retention just for a moment. In the last 10 years, we had 217 Rotarians join clubs in our district and quit within their first year of Rotary membership. And we had another 515 join and quit within their first 2 years of membership. So we had 700 and some members join us and quit within 2 years. And so my question is, why is that? Why is that? And I really think it comes down to engagement. I think, you know, we can probably attract members into our club, but can we keep members in our club? And you guys are a really strong club, and I appreciate that. You have really strong folks. You all come to district events, got past district governors, it holds everything together. That's great. But a lot of our clubs aren't able to do that. They don't have an engagement process to keep new members interested. I like your idea of having a service project once a quarter. I think that's really important right now because that is a form of engagement. I think it's really important to our clubs, particularly if they're not able to meet in person. So, what's retention look like? You know, I think it may not be applicable to this club. I'm speaking about the district as a whole. I think many of our clubs need to be looking for new ways of meeting. You know, some clubs have not been meeting because they refuse to meet virtually. I got one club that says, we're only gonna meet in person. That's the only way we're gonna meet. Don't tell us meeting virtually, we're not gonna meet in person. And I gotta say, the club hasn't been meeting, so what's next, right? So I think people have to be open to the idea. And I think COVID actually has forced us as Rotarians to actually make changes that we all need to make to be sustainable. You know, did we ever think we were all gonna meet virtually? No. Has it allowed us to do other things differently? Yes. Are we learning some things from it? Yes. Is it difficult? Yes. You know, speakers don't always work, right? Cameras don't always work, but we're finding ways to make it work. Webster defines defines relevant as having significant and demonstrable bearing of the matter at hand. So what's this mean? I respectfully suggest that all clubs, all members, all district leadership need to complete an assessment to determine what works well, what doesn't work so well. It means polling our members to find out why they join Rotary. And more importantly, I want to know why you stay in Rotary. Okay? We can, like I said, we can track numbers if we go out and ask them. But the more important thing is, why do you stay Rotarians? Okay? It also means asking tough questions. What would cause you to leave? Okay? So I want to know, are you greatly interested in Rotary? And if not, why not? And if you are, please share that story. Please share that story. It's important. And so I'd like more Rotarians to share their stories, both with me, with the district, with your club members, about why you stay with Rotary and what's important to you about Rotary. You know, I think it's a value proposition. My club is expensive to belong to. It's $1,200, maybe $1,300 because we prepay our meals, right? And so sometimes members leave because their organization puts paying their dues. And so the question I ask is, did they really value it? Because if they valued it, maybe they'd find a way to stay a Rotarian, at least in the short term, to get their new boss to pay their dues. I self-paid my dues for years. I don't right now, but my boss said to me, why aren't we paying your dues? I said, I don't know, you're welcome to. He said, okay. But, you know, I was self-paying my dues because it was important to me. I got the value out of it. But, a quick example, my club, we had a 20-something-year-old young lady come to us, and she was a pharmacist, is a pharmacist in one of our local Rite Aids or CVS or whatever. She had been an outbound youth exchange. And she heard about our club, she knew about Rotary, she wanted to join our club. She came to orientation, we tell them about the dues in our orientation. And I think it must have been expressed $260 a quarter. She joined the club, and a week later she said, I know it's $260 a year. I can't afford $260 a quarter. And so she immediately quit. So we had a young Rotarian, would have been the youngest Rotarian in my club, quit within a week of joining Rotary. And that stuff shouldn't happen. We have to find ways. My club has to find ways. I've been arguing with my club for years about they have to find ways to make it affordable for Rotarians to come to Rotary. So we just need to be vibrant, engaging, make our members feel involved, inspired by the membership, so that they consider the value proposition and want to be part of our clubs. The second area of opportunity I talk about is leadership. You know, it's important that we have leadership transition in our clubs. I know that you have done a really good job of that, and I appreciate that. I can tell you, though, that 3 weeks before the start of this July 1 Rotary year, I had 3 clubs that didn't have presidents. They found them quickly, and then within the first 2 weeks after the start of the Rotary year, we had a changeover of 2 club presidents. So what does that mean? Well, for those 5 club presidents, they lost the training that we gave 7 and everybody else as part of our district training for presidents. And clubs, you know, when you're president, you come in, you kind of get your arms around everything, trying to understand what's going to happen, what your year is going to look like. They really didn't have a chance to plan. And so we really need to work on leadership development inside our clubs. And you long-time Rotarians and you PDGs know that we have to find our leaders in our club. We got to support them. We got to get them involved early. We got to bring them up through the club. We just can't say, oh, you went to the bathroom, you're club president next year. Folks, that happens. So we need to work on that. And you know, leadership doesn't stop inside the club. We need a lot of help at the district. You know, we have 47 clubs. We have 2,700 Rotarians roughly. It takes a lot to lead a club of that size. Think if you were a business, you have 2,000 or 2,700 employees, what that might look like. So we need lots of help on committees. It could be task oriented, be a chair of a committee, if you're a past president, if you're a past president, you guys can become assistant governors, and, you know, eventually governors. We need all that help in our district, and I welcome you to help join us do that. You know, we offer a lot of opportunity for training for Rotary. You mentioned Trilogy. So we have, the district has two main training events every year. The first one's District Assembly, which is often held in May and canceled every because of COVID. And then we have Trilogy coming up on September 23. And I'm glad we are offering it virtually, because I've heard complaints about it cost me 5 hours of time to drive from Batavia to Dayton and then back home after a lunch, dinner, and a 3-hour meeting or whatever the case may be. So we shortened it down to 90 minutes, do it virtually. It's free. It's free. And we're going to talk about membership, retention, attraction. We're going to talk about our foundation, the foundation, and more. And we're also going to talk about public image and branding. And I think public image and branding is something our clubs really need to grab onto. Frankly, our district hasn't done a very good job on it. And the governor and I, myself, DG, DGN, and Heidi Schiller, our public image chair, we're working on a strategy right now to improve that. You know, social media, websites, communications, emails, whatever it happens to be, we all need to work on that. And branding is important because Rotary has certain brands, you know, think about logos and things like that, the Rotary wheels all gold and stuff like that. That's intellectual property. If we violate that intellectual property, we're opening it up to other people violating intellectual property. So as a district governor, I'm charged with making sure that we follow RI's branding guidelines. We're going to talk about that at Trilogy, but I think we're going to give you some really helpful ideas about that. By the way, I looked at your website yesterday. Spot on, I think, with following RI branding. I'll have Heidi check it, but I think it looks good and appreciate that. You might want to say though, that your website says that you're not meeting. I want to change that. And it also says you're meeting at 7. I want to change that. So I just give you that as well. Other events that we have, Rotary Leadership Institute, we commonly call it RLI. It's a 3-session, all-day session training event for anybody who wants to learn about Rotary and become a leader. We usually held it at Saturdays up in Xenia, Ohio. I think we're looking at doing this virtually because of COVID and other reasons. But it's a great opportunity to learn more. It's in stages. Step 1 and then Step 2 builds on Step 1, Step 3 builds on Step 2. So I welcome you to do that. District conference, I'm planning to have an in-person district conference in April of next year. We'll see if we can pull that off. We're going to have a virtual backup just in case. The other thing I want to mention is every year our zones have a training event, which has largely been for district governors, district governor-elects, district governor nominees. Some PDGs come and some emerging leaders, things like that. That's called the Rotary Summit. And this year it's supposed to be in Norman, Oklahoma. This year, because of cancellations, it's going to be October the 10th. It's on a Saturday. I think it'd be well worth you coming. You can register for free, and it's going to be more about that in the newsletter. It's a Saturday. 2 really cool speakers. One is Jenny Stotts. Jenny belongs to District 6690, which is in Columbus and South area. She's actually a member of one of the Zanesville Rotary clubs, Athens or Zanesville, I think which one it is. She does this Rotary Happy Story. You got to listen to it. It's great. I don't know if you were on the session when we played that at the screen. You got to hear that story. She talks about why she left the Rotary Club and started a new one. And the new one's kind of started by accident. But she tells a great story. And then there's this other guy who's has a speech called Goodery. I forget his name off the top of my head. But anyways, he's from England. And I got to see him at the international conference speak live in Germany last year. Another great story, great storyteller. I think you'll really enjoy those 2 stories. If that's all you came to at that event, so please join us for that. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the foundation, right, Peter? And Peter will speak to you more about that in the coming month. But you're right. World Polio Day is October 24th. Rotary's asking every club to donate at least $1,500 to polio, and I'd like your club to do that. I'd like your club to do that. If every club did that in our district, we would have $70,500. And the Gates Foundation will match that 2-to-1. So that would be what, 220,000, something like that. Polio. I'd like your club to find a way to donate $1,500. You know, we are that close, and we only have 2 endemic countries now. Nigeria dropped off the list a week or so ago, and so it's down to Afghanistan and Pakistan. But you can't stop. I mean, we're still immunizing in India and Africa and other areas to keep the spread of polio down. So I appreciate you doing that. Rotary Foundation, also like you to consider the annual fund. Are you all aware of how the annual fund works? We donate money now and how it comes back to us. Who knows? Active Peter knows. Bill knows. So here's what happens. Let's say our district gives 200,000. Our clubs, all of us, all of you, donate $200,000 to the annual fund at Rotary International, at the Rotary Foundation. 3 years from now, that $200,000 comes back in several ways. 100,000 of that actually comes back to direct district use. We got 100,000 and 50,000 of that we use to match local grants, like the dictionary fund. Okay? The other $50,000 we use to match global grants. And then the other $100,000 is used by Rotary International for matching global grants as well. So money we give this year will come back for our grants in 3 years. We've seen a steady decline in our contributions to the annual fund. What that does is it hurts our district because we're not able to give as many grants. I think in 2 years, we're only going to be able to give like $35,000 in grants, national grant money. When this year we gave $51,000. So your contributions to the annual fund are really important to help us and help you and give the grant money back for your grants. So appreciate your help with that. Last opportunity for service. I have biracial grandchildren. 2 of my grandchildren are biracial black. You know, Black Lives Matter thing matters to me. And I think as Rotarians, we have an opportunity to help our communities with peace. If you think about it, we have government officials, we have key mental health and social service agencies who are members of our clubs, we have civic leaders, we have strong business leaders. We know about peace. We've been doing peace forever. Who better to help with this situation? And you know, to the extent you can, if your club can and should, I would like you to be involved in these matters and help you know, promote peace, whatever way you can. So thank you for that, and I welcome your opportunities to do that, both in your community and within our district. I'll close with a short story. I hope this story kind of brings it all home. I'll try to wrap it up for you. I almost never became a Rotarian. No, I almost never had the opportunity to become a Rotarian. So I had moved from Columbus to Dayton to take my job as an insurance agent in 2000. In 2002, I was visiting one of my largest clients. The CEO was the president of the Dayton Rotary Club. And I said to him, "What's Rotary?" Because I really didn't know. Where I grew up, it was Lions Club. And so he told me a little bit about it. And I said, "Well, how do I get involved?" He goes, "Greg, you can't do the Dayton Rotary Club." I looked at him, I'm like, "Why not?" He said, "Well, you're not the most senior person in your organization, and you're not that well known yet in the community." Okay, you know, felt a little rejected, but okay, I got over it, right? Fast forward 4 years later, I'm having lunch with a coworker of my wife, also a member of the Dayton Rotary. And he says to me, "Greg, why aren't you a member of Rotary?" And I told him the story, and he goes, "Well, that's crazy." I said, "I know." And he says, "We're going to get you a member of Rotary, but I'm not going to propose you." I'm like, "What? You're asking me to be a member of Rotary, but you don't want to propose it?" "Well, you know, my insurance agent's a member of that club, and I don't want to upset it." Remember the old rule, we can have more than one, you know, whatever. You know, I don't want to upset anybody, of course, right? So he went to the now new CEO of my company that I mentioned before and got him to propose me to Rotary. So I joined Rotary. Big club. The good thing about my club is we're pretty good at engagement for new members. We have this new member, we call it the Red Ribbon Committee. But essentially, the new members go through a series of 5 classes on a Thursday morning at 7 or 7:30, like you all do. Have a quick breakfast, and they bring in different people from the club to talk about what's going on in the club. Committee chairs, talk about service projects, how the club operates, club officers, and all that kind of stuff. And then it culminates at the end of the year with a thing we call a takeover day. So that group has to take over the entire meeting. President of the day, Happy Bucks, we call it, our secretary raises, we call it day taps. By the way, we have to give a minimum of $10 to say something instead of $1. But anyways, We raise state towns, they have to get the speaker, welcoming, all the stuff that goes with that. So I volunteered to be president. I figured, well, that's an easy job, right? Tell them what to do. That's a little bit wrong, but that's okay. It was fun being president for the day. But that led me to getting some exposure to the club. And so they came to me and said, well, you lead that new member group next year. And I did for the next 2 years. And the best part about that was I met every new member coming in through the club. And those 30 or 40 Rotary members are my best Rotary friends in the club because I got to meet them over the time that they came in during those 2 years. Further exposure, further engagement. The club president, the immediate past was nominating chair. He said, we need to get you on the board. We want you to be the treasurer. Okay. Eventually I became president, all that kind of stuff. The point of all that was my club, you know, somebody asked me to be Rotarian. Somebody asked me. I didn't ask, somebody asked me, right? Didn't get to the way he didn't want to propose me, but he asked me. And then they got me engaged, right? And so I felt engaged. I felt a part of the club. You know, in a big club, it's hard to feel part of a club because you don't know a lot of people necessarily. But then I got further engaged. I had guys like Mac Hickman come up to me at a district event and say, why don't you apply for governor? I'm like, you're crazy. I don't want that job. And then he came up to me, and then Eric Marcus, another PDG, came up to me at the same time and said, you know, at the same meeting, he said, why don't you apply for governor? I did. I'm here. You know, it's a fun job. It takes a lot of time. I have a full-time job, so this is my second full-time job. But the point being, I really love Rotary. I love being engaged. And because someone asked me and got me engaged, and other people kept me engaged, I feel like I'm a part of Rotary. And so, while I didn't have the first opportunity to get in Rotary, I thank God that I now have the opportunity to get in Rotary. And that's my message. So, open opportunities for others, invite members to be members of your club, serve your community, open opportunities for others, engage your members, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you today. Time for any questions?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we got just a couple minutes. If anyone has any questions for Greg.
I'd like to make a comment. I'm Greg. I don't know if you remember me, Greg, but when I was up in Columbus for pets 3.5 years ago, I had an opportunity to have a beer at the bar with you.
That's right.
Your enthusiasm and you were very informed. You know, you informed me a lot about Rotary and history and all that. And I remember leaving the bar that night, and you know, my batteries were charged pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
Says a lot about you.
I remember that.
I appreciate it.
I remember I saw that here. Thank you. What else? Another boring other speech? Wasn't as boring as Peter's or Max, was it? I'm just kidding. Max was Mr. Governor when I was president.
One thing that I've noticed as the senior past district governor in the virtual room is that it seems that you are upholding a great tradition in this district, and that is that the past district governors keep getting better as we go along.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, yes, please.
I have a question. With the foundation money, and you're talking about the grants coming back, and there's a portion of it that's coming back for our community, but a bigger portion that's going to international projects. Is there a way to balance that out just a little bit more? Because with everything that's going on, it seems like that the need in our local communities has increased. Yeah. And the funding that the clubs have and that the individuals have with everything going on, it seems like that maybe there could be some hesitancy in donating because they would want more of the funds to be held more locally than international. I mean, international is in dire need also, but just saying.
Yeah. So the rule is the same for everybody worldwide, so I don't think we're going to change that. I should tell you that Rotary donated over $3 million to COVID around the world and had a big fundraiser on a Saturday, which I think they raised over $500,000 as part of that. So the Rotary Foundation did find ways to use that. So that money was used in the U.S., was used in other countries. That's not going to change, I don't think. But I want you to know that global grants can be done here in the U.S. People don't recognize that. We don't think about doing international projects overseas. Did you know you can do an international project here? You just got to find a club outside the U.S. to help to be your sponsor. Okay, so West Virginia, Appalachia area, they're doing some of that. So they'll go find clubs in Canada, even India, wherever, England, or whatever the case may be, and they'll want to create a global grant process to help educate the poor or whatever, feed the poor in Appalachia. And they'll find clubs to support that, and they'll apply for a global grant, and then that money will actually come here in the U.S. So I wish I could say that. What I say to people is, I want you to give to the Rotary Foundation, but, all I say is if you're going to give where you need to give, and give something wherever you can. Okay? Because even when my own club said to me, Greg, when you were club president, you talked a lot about international and funding the Rotary Foundation. They said what you said. We have a lot of needs locally. We should focus on our needs locally. And our club has a large foundation ourselves. I mean, we've got like a 900,000 corpus. But anyways, they wanted me to talk about that. And so I told a recent past president of my club, he said that to me, the same thing. And here's what I said to him. Do you think the Rotary Club of Dayton could have solved polio all by itself? The Women Club has solved polio all by itself. The answer would be no, right? We took all of the clubs together and the international support to do that. So I know that probably doesn't answer your question and what you want to hear, but it is the way the foundation operates. Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, so we're right at 8:30, so time to wrap up. Our next meeting is on the 22nd, 7:30, and I don't have the presenter in front of me, but look forward to having them. So, did you have something, Lynn? No. No. We're good. All right. Yeah, if everyone wants to stand, we'll finish off with a four-way test. All right. Of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned.